Welcome to episode 3 of the Truth Sideline podcast. I'm your host, Pete Janney, joined by my co host, Mike Jarvis. It's great to be back on with you guys today. We're approaching the holiday season. Episode 3 was really special. We had on former Division One head coach Matt McCall, who had stops at Chattanooga and UMass. Really appreciate having Matt on here talking about his experiences in coaching, as well as being a dad to 3 children who are growing up in youth sports right now. So, what a great episode this was, Mike, and hope you're doing well.
Yeah, things are going great. It was great to have Matt on. We worked together at Florida Atlantic, and then from there he went to Florida, and then he did a great job at Chattanooga. They went to the NCAA tournament. Then he went to UMass for a little bit of time, and now he's on USA Network and NBC Sports, and he's doing a great job. So doing some color and. A lot of commentary in the studio. So it's good to see him and learn about his family. And this week we have our athlete spotlight. So
Yes, let's do it.
it came
What do you
down.
got for us?
It came down. I had a couple of people under consideration. The easy one could have been like an Austin Reeves with the Lakers,
Ooh,
but instead I went with Meg Anderson from Fairfield
yes,
University, from their women's basketball program, who had a great win at Villanova. Meg is a basically two-time Player of the Year, junior in the MAC conference at Fairfield, and she had 35 points in a nice win at Villanova. I wouldn't call it an upset, and as one of the assistants there, Blake Dudanis has
yes.
a positionless offense for them, and her position is called a roadrunner. And in reading some of the tweets, I don't think um, the Villanova announcer framed it. They called them forwards, and I think Meg took it very personal and dropped 35 in a big win. As I expect big things from the Lady Stags this year. I think they're definitely like a
That's
right
great.
around the top 25 team and expect them to make a nice run this year. If they get a good matchup in the tournament, that's a Sweet 16 type team with everybody healthy, and they have a great coach and expecting big things.
Meg is obviously one of the more talented athletes here in the area. As you mentioned, junior year at Fairfield already. Time is flying by, but she's just been an absolute asset for that program and what she's been able to do. So that's also the second year in a row that the Stags have beaten Villanova.
So,
They're the team to beat in the MAC. They're one of the best mid majors in the country.
yeah, and I think honestly,
Well,
they're probably one of the top 30 teams in the country. I would say the way they do it, and I like the approach with the like positionless basketball. They do have point guards, but everybody else does pretty much the same thing. And that roadrunner concept, I think it makes it a lot easier to recruit a kid that may be thinking about, I want to play the three, I want to play the four. You're just going to be a player out there. So they have come up with something that's working for them, and you never know. I think it's going to catch. I would definitely.
it's all
I
about
want to
getting
buy
that.
some NIL Roadrunner gear. So
I would love
kudos.
that. They should definitely get on that and market that. And it's all about who you get, what draw you get in March.
Yes,
Last year was tough. They had K State, which was a great team, and they were no match for them. So if they could get a higher seed this year, look out for the Stags. Well,
absolutely.
switching gears, thanks for that, Matt. But switching gears back to our guest today, Matt McCall. To me, it was really cool hearing from him. He has a daughter Brooklyn, who is swimming very competitively right now down in Florida. She's gone her own path, got into it when the family was still up in Massachusetts, and has stuck with the sport down in Florida. It's really cool hearing what Matt had to say about that and his support for her as she chases her own dream. Right? You think about it, Mike. You were a coach, son of a coach. A lot of these kids feel pressure to go into whatever sport is known for in their family, and it's cool to hear stories of her going her own path. Your son now is playing hockey. I think that's really cool too. So carving out their own paths. I think that was one of my biggest takeaways.
Yeah, and it is. I think it's crucial for the kid to like steer the bus. So they're driving the bus, and as far as like what they would like to do, and hopefully the parents are can support it. That's a big thing too. It's not like everybody can just put their kid in like a top swimming program because you have to have some resources to get started. But if you're able to do that and you let your kid kind of go where they want and with enthusiasm and really encourage them, I think it's a great thing. So
So Matt's journey started at Florida under Billy Donovan, got into coaching there, and the way he describes his journey, I thought was really cool as well. And even recently, taking the assistant gig under Chris Mack at Charleston, and then reevaluating that and wanting to be more with his family at this point in his life. So the coaching profession is crazy. Everybody that knows coaches know just how hard they work, how much time they have to spend recruiting, how much time they have to spend with their players. And that was very evident in this conversation as well, just how much he had given to the profession of coaching and rising all the way up to becoming a head coach.
and I give him a lot of respect for recognizing that maybe that Charleston move wasn't the right move at the right time. If your heart's not really in it, you have to probably make some hard decisions and give up maybe a little bit of like what your identity has been. Do something a little different.
Mhm.
Take some time and figure it out. But he's doing well, and I know he does a great job on TV, and he's got some real estate stuff going in Florida. So I'm really proud of what he's doing and how he's leading his family.
Without further ado, we'll get into our conversation with Matt McCall. We are joined by former Chattanooga and UMass head coach Matt McCall. Matt, thanks so much for coming on today. How you doing?
Yeah, this is gonna be a tough act to follow. I heard I have to follow Coach Mike Jarvis. That's not going to be easy to do, but I promise I'm going to do my best and appreciate you guys having me on.
Excited to have you on. I know we worked together at Florida Atlantic back in the day. It seems like it was yesterday, but it was probably 14 years ago now, which is insane. And obviously, you've had a few stops in between, and love to hear a little bit about that. We could start back basically how you got into the business and kind of give a little background. I know you were at University of Florida, part of a couple of national championship teams. So actually, maybe three, right? Do you have three rings?
I've got two and three Final Fours.
Three Final
We got knocked
Fours.
out. We couldn't. It was Shabusiness's day. We couldn't stop Shabazz Napier.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
We won 30 games in a row that year, but we couldn't stop him in the Final Four. But no, I appreciate you having us on, and I started. I was just going to go to the University of Florida. I was going to be a preferred walk on over at Stetson. I elected to go to the University of Florida and was just like, you know what? I'm going to be a normal student. This is what everybody in my hometown does. They go to college, they join a fraternity, and they have a good time. And I was miserable. That was not what I wanted to do once I got into college, and I started working for the team at Florida. My dad, God rest his soul, played middle linebacker there and had a relationship with Jeremy Foley, with Steve Spurrier. And they got me in with Coach Donovan, and I started at the bottom, washing clothes, handing out water bottles, passing out towels, doing the grunt work. And just kind of little responsibilities turned into more and more and more. Coach kept me on as a GA, then he kept me on as an ops guy. And then me and him had a heart to heart about me wanting to be a coach. And I'll never forget, he hounded your dad. Him and Larry Shiat blew your dad's phone up for a week straight once he got the FAU job. And I drove my Chevy Trailblazer down to lovely Boca Raton. I met him over at Woodfield Country Club. We had
Yep.
about a 3-4 hour lunch, and Coach Jarvis hired me on the spot. And I think people really tend to forget what he did there. And really changing the trajectory of Florida Atlantic basketball. And I'm not taking anything away from Dusty May and what he did, because it was really remarkable, especially when you walk into that gym. It was a time warp when I walked in like 10 years after I left. But what Coach Jarvis and you and me and Tim Kaine and that crew, bringing a Sun Belt title, that banner up there, man, I'll never forget. Like, I've got a lot of rings from Florida. I've got, championship hats and stuff. But that ring from FAU, man, that one means a lot, because it was the first opportunity for me that Coach gave me. And we were able to win a championship. And then 3 years later, Coach Donovan, he's a man of his word. And I'll never forget the conversation that I had with him before I left to go to FAU. He said, I will hire you back, but I need you to go get experience. And that's exactly what happened. And he was a man of his word. After 3 years going to Florida Atlantic and learning from Coach Jarvis and learning from Deuce and trying to figure it out, he hired me back and went back as an assistant coach for 4 years. And success breeds opportunity. I didn't become a head coach because I'm the world's greatest recruiter. And if there's any young coaches listening, this is important. Like, I did not become a head coach because I was the greatest recruiter in the world or the best individual instruction guy or the best offensive coach in the world. No, I became a coach because of the opportunity that was created for me at Florida Atlantic and the University of Florida, and having success. Serve the program, serve your head coach, win, and you will get an opportunity. So 2 years there, young, probably needed to stay, needed to get more experience because I took over a very, very challenging situation at UMass, throw in a pandemic, and was out of the business there after 5 years. We had some success. We left the program better than when we found it, but it was definitely a challenge. And for any other young coaches, you can't be in a hurry to climb that ladder. Make sure you're ready because no job is the same. There's going to be different challenges. And then got into this space, got into the media space, needed to hit reset during that whole journey. I'm always indebted to both the Jarvises because I did meet my wife while I was at FAU,
Right.
the Peruvian princess, we call her, over on Atlantic Avenue in Delray Beach. It's a fun spot to go to. I met her out there. And during that whole process, we've had 3 children. So, we're back in Florida. We're enjoying it. I love this side of things. I do feel like I want to help coaches. I want to help young coaches. And working for NBC, Field of 68, Sirius XM. So, yeah, man, we're enjoying. I go home happy every night. I never lose. So it's been a blessing.
Yeah. No, that's the one thing. Like, if you're not coaching, like the losses. I mean, you remember the wins, but I still the losses hurt like nothing else. Like, the wins are great, but I think most guys that coach, they hate losing more than they like winning. So, and that's what makes them good.
And it's funny. We're talking about UConn. People ask me all the time, is there a loss that stands out to you more than anything? And it was that game. I mean,
Yeah.
to win 30 games in a row, be the number one team in the country for, I don't know, 2.5, 3 months, and then you lose. I mean, that one stings. I mean,
Yeah.
that loss stung, for sure. I'll never forget it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel the
So
same way.
many
Like,
great rivalries now. UConn Florida has turned into an incredible rivalry, and we'll see them again this year at Madison Square Garden.
Couple weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. I just want to get your thoughts on now being in the media. Like, how has that changed your perspective of the game? Do you pick up on different little things now that you're not just wired as a coach?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me too is being able. Look, my career, I learned from 2 people. I learned from Billy Donovan and I learned from Mike Jarvis. Not to say that I didn't take things from a Rob Lanier, from a John Pelfrey, from an Anthony Grant, from a Donnie Jones, from a Larry Shyatt. But those were the 2 guys. So I really only saw 2 ways of doing things. And for me to be able to go to practice and see how different coaches coach and how they implement offense and defense, I only knew a couple ways. So that's been really, really good. And it's funny, man. I always call my wife and I ask her this question because, if you're doing a game in February and you go in and these coaches and they look pale, they look sick, they look stressed. I'd say to my wife, did I look like that? And she said, yes, you looked exactly like that. So, yeah, I just think you just see things a little bit differently, especially when you get fired. When you get fired, your perspective completely changes. and you go back and think of where did it go wrong, and did I put the right people around me, and did I, how did it get that way? And then you see guys that are having success, and the huddles, the culture, the staff chemistry that they have. Your perspective shifts when you get told you can no longer coach here.
No, it's true, and I think, except for a couple of guys, I think everybody's going to go through it. Like Coach K, no. Billy Donovan, no. So there's no nobody. I don't think anybody's going to go through this unscathed, and so that's the the reality. But usually, it definitely gives you like a little. You get a chance to hit the reset button, figure out what's next, and then you move on. But you have to be able to move on. That's hard for a lot of guys. I think they kind of harbor ill will to whoever may have fired them, and a lot of times it comes from somebody above them. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
and I think you
in
bring up
most
a great
cases,
point. Moving on is it's the biggest challenge. I mean, I've been out. I got told on March 1st, 2022, that I'm no longer the coach. You still have moments. You still and not moment. Yeah, it's an emotional roller coaster. You're angry. You feel a level of guilt of what did I do wrong. So yeah, I mean, but to be able to hit reset is the biggest thing. And for me, I'll never say never. But definitely enjoying what we're doing now.
yeah. And I know you took the job over at and we've all like I took a job for a day, so um, we've we've moved on. I took a job at Northeastern as an assistant coach. Bill Harrion called me to come to Drexel. The next day I'm packing up my office saying see you later, and I was gone. So I've done it, but I know you took the job at Charleston, and obviously your family situation at that time was a lot different than when you took the UMass job. So if you could talk a little bit about that, and then we can get into kind of like what you're seeing and go from there.
Yeah, I think one, I rushed the decision. Felt like almost I had to do it. This is who I am. This is what else am I going to do? How am I going to provide for my family? And I was really, really thinking about it being there, and indebted to Chris Mack. I wish those guys nothing but success. Jeff McGinnis is a great guy. He's on staff with those guys. So I wish them, Chris Harriman, everybody that's there are really good people. So I wish them, all the success. Kristen Cunningham, he's there too. So, but I rushed it, and I'm sitting there and I'm just thinking to myself, having dealt with, different things as a head coach, staff chemistry, those types of things, am I doing this for the right reasons?
Yeah.
Like, am I here because this is where I want to be at this point in my life, and I want to put my heart and soul into this program and help Chris Mack get back to the NCAA tournament because he's a really, really good basketball coach? Or am I here because it's a guaranteed paycheck that's coming in every two weeks? And I was balancing it. Throw on top of that I had just moved my family to Florida, the year prior. That was difficult on them. They were settled in, and I'm thinking to myself of, listen, I think Chris Mack's going to have a lot of success. I don't think he's going to be there very long. So then, do you move here? Then you do move again. Then you do move again. And when you have children, look, at 30 years old, I remember leaving your dad's office, driving to my wife's then girlfriend's work, and saying, I'm gone. Like, I got in my car and drove to Gainesville. Like, there was no hesitation.
Yeah.
But when you have kids, and you know this, Deuce, like, your perspective changes. It just does. So
Yeah.
for me, I'm sitting there and I'm doing him a disservice being here because my heart's not completely invested at this point in my life to be coaching again. It's
Yeah.
just not. I'd made some progress in this space. I'd made progress with NBC. I'd made progress with the Field of 68 and Sirius XM. And I'm like, I want to continue to do that right now.
Yeah.
When the right opportunity for me to coach again comes along, I'll know it in my heart. That for me wasn't the right opportunity. And I'm doing him a disservice if I'm just sitting there not putting everything that I have into it, because that's what I've done my entire coaching career, from student manager to a GA to an ops guy to an assistant at FAU to an assistant at Florida. Like, I've put everything I've had into it. And that's the only way I know how to do it.
Yeah. No, listen, you've been super successful. One of your first recruit ever just went into the Hall of Fame at GW, Greg Gant. So I'll give him a little shout out. I remember my dad telling me, he's like, Matt's got this guy at lefty shooter from Gainesville. He thinks he's going to be really good. I was like, well, let's get him. We had nobody, so at that time we chased Greg around all summer, and he came to FAU, and I think he still holds the scoring title, right? Is he
He
the
still
leading
holds a
scorer?
scoring title, and he's still playing.
He's still
You
playing,
know,
which
which
is
was
insane.
really impressive. I was supposed to go. I was going to be there, and my flight got delayed coming back from Big 12 Media Day. But you're right. What a great person. What a great
Yes.
player. And the fact that he's still playing is really remarkable.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
great,
incredible.
great family too. Yeah. So Matt, now that you're a dad, you got three kids. Tell us a little bit about that evolution and like what sports are those guys involved in?
Yeah. So my oldest, Brooklyn, first of all, they're all born in different towns. Brooklyn was born in Gainesville. Kylie was born in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Maverick was born in Amherst, Massachusetts. So we got one from all over. But
Very different geographically.
yeah. So Maverick is still 4. We got him swinging a golf club. We'll bounce past chess pass a little bit. I actually tried to get him in the Jupiter youth league, but they said he has to be 5. And then I offered to coach the team because of I told him my background, and they still wouldn't let me put him in, which was kind of strange, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's qualified dads to coach that league too. But my 2 daughters are competitive swimmers. Brooklyn is very competitive. Kylie's still trying to figure out if that's what she wants to do, or if she wants to go play lacrosse, which she enjoys too. But they're involved, and I tell people all the time, I'm probably their coach's worst nightmares. And what I mean by that is, a lot of parents, and I know we're going to get into this a little bit, they sit there at every practice. They're constantly worried about how much time are they dropping in swimming. Did they add time? Did they drop time? Like, just the wrong things for 12 years old.
Yeah.
And if my daughter wants to go to the pool 7 days a week, I will take her 7 days a week. If she wants to go at 6 a.m., I will take her at 6 a.m. I want her to want to do this.
Yes.
I can't be the one telling her to do this. And I tell her coaches that all the time, because the swimming is different than youth league hoops and youth league, rec league lacrosse. It's just different.
Yeah.
And it's very, very intense. And they come up to me and want me to tell her XYZ. And I go back at them and say, no,
Yeah.
I am her dad. I am her biggest cheerleader. But if you need her to do something in the pool, you have to tell her as her coach. I'm not going to be her coach.
No.
And my father, I'll never forget this conversation, Deuce. I was probably, 10, 11 years old. And he came, we had just finished Little League. And he came up to me, we're driving home, and he says, I'm done. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, I'm not coaching you anymore. And then it's like nothing negative happened, but he said, I'm not coaching you. And I said, well, why? Because I want to be your dad.
Yeah.
If you want my advice, which obviously playing high level Division I football, he's been through a lot, ask. But other than that, I'm just going to be your cheerleader. Yeah. And I just try to do the same thing. If she has a bad day or a bad meet, it's all about, there was a leadership consultant that I worked with a lot. I wish I would have worked with him earlier in my career, because then maybe I'd still be coaching. But we always talked about, you can control your attitude, you can control your commitment, you can control your effort. And that's the message to my kids. Not how much time did you drop today in the pool? How many goals did you score in lacrosse? Like, if you follow me on social media, you'll see me and my kids like having fun on the way to the meets. Like,
that's awesome.
Not like
that's awesome. Yep.
Laser focused and like, we got to go get, she's 12 years old.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I think it drives her coaches nuts sometimes, but I'm like, I've been through too much. I've experienced a lot. I've dealt with, let's just call it, crazy parents as a head college coach. College coach. Same thing. I'm sure we can off air talk about a few of them, right? Like, but I'm not going to be that way. because of my experience, I have to sometimes calm my wife down because she can get caught up in the time and the dropping of it. And we're not doing that.
Yeah.
My daughter has to be the one to say, I want to go to practice. Because if I'm pushing her to practice, what's going to happen? She'll end up quitting. And she's good. I don't know enough about swimming. I just know when they jump in the pool and she beats the people to the end of the pool, she's good.
Yep.
So, but if I'm the one in the summertime dragging her out of bed and putting her in my car out of anger, she'll quit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. Like my son actually plays ice hockey. So yesterday they didn't have school and he starts texting me at like 7 o'clock. Dad, I want to go to the rink. I was like, all right, well, who's going? And he's like, they had like what they call stick time. So I dropped him off at like 11:30 and picked him up at 4. So that's his thing, which I can't believe he's still playing ice hockey. It's like crazy, but that's a whole other conversation. So, but the good thing is like they have their own sport. You don't know a hell of a lot about it, so I think it's probably better for you that way. You're not coming in like if she was like the starting point guard for Jupiter High, and with all the expectations and knowing what you did before. I think it makes it easier for you and them. So
Well,
I think
I
that's
think too,
great.
dude, you're probably the same way. Like everyone probably asks you the same question that they ask me, right? Any son of a coach, they're going to ask, oh, he's going to be a hooper. Or they're going to say, oh, he's going to play basketball. I don't care what Maverick does.
Not
Yeah.
Mike's son.
Like, and my
mine.
dad was the same way. Like, my dad didn't make me play football. I
Yeah.
tried it. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I broke my arm. So I'm like, I'm not doing this again. Like, but you're going to, here's my message. You're going to do something,
Yes.
right? We're not screen time. We're not playing video games. You got to do something.
Yeah.
Do what you want. I want him to play golf. Am I going to make him play golf? No. I want him to play golf because it's some of the best memories I had growing up with my dad. Like going on a golf trip with my father was just something that some of the best memories I have with him. I want Maverick to do the same thing. He wants to play basketball. I'll help him in any way he wants. But
And how much are you seeing the effects of NIL and kind of the popularity of that? Everybody chasing the next big thing, wanting to get big with NIL, social media. How much are you seeing that trickle down into youth sports from your
I
experience?
think it's one. I think it's huge. Two, I think it's hurting. It's hurting some guys. I have a really good friend that I met down in Jupiter. We've been friends for a few years now. He's a former college basketball coach from Colorado. He played, I think, D2 college basketball. He's now in the corporate world. He's high up at Ford. But he called me the other day and was like, I can't get – my son's a good player, Matt. Like, I know what a good basketball player looks like. Nobody's recruiting him, And I think when you look at AJ DeBonsa or the Boozers or those guys, the top 50 players are going to be fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like those guys are going to be fine. Whatever the kid, KO Pete from Arizona just destroyed Florida's front court the other night, destroyed them. Those guys are going to be fine. But those mid-level players, those Southern Conference, Sun Belt, like those schools aren't recruiting high school players because of the portal, because of it's just not happening. So I do think that trickle down effect. But in terms of like the negativity of helicopter parents, no question. It's only going to get worse because now they can see dollar signs coming to their son in high school. I mean, these dudes are getting shoe deals in high school now. Make no mistake about it. Like they're getting paid. So I think it's only going to continue as nobody grabs, their arms around this whole thing. It's only going to continue to get worse, and it's going to really, really bleed into grassroots. I'm not really in the weeds as obviously as much anymore in terms of grassroots basketball, but yeah, man, I would think that Deuce feels the same way. Like it's going to get ugly, and it's only going to make youth sports and helicopter parents worse.
Yeah, it is. And it's going to go not, I mean, obviously, I think basketball probably has the most money in youth sports as far as like potential deals, but it goes into everything now. Like it's going to go into soccer, um, because they think their kids are going to be playing in the World Cup, which is crazy. They don't even recruit kids from here. Um, and then I don't know about swimming, but definitely ice hockey. It's a similar thing where guys don't even get recruited to play in college until they go and play in like some league up in Canada for 3 years, and then they're like 24-year-old freshmen. So hockey's crazy. I think all these sports, and then the parents obviously they see the money. So
Yeah, I mean,
God bless them.
you look at what's going on now too, where I can go play in the G League and I can come back to college. Well, that's what they're doing in Europe, right? You're playing professionally in Europe. It's just there's no rules, there's no parameters. It's mass chaos, and parents are going to see dollar signs and now push their children even more.
Yeah.
So swimming is obviously a very different sport than basketball. What your daughter is into, and I just want to talk about the culture of that being down in Florida. Did she have a lot of friends that got into it? Did that lead her into that? And also, given your Florida Gators roots, Florida swimming is an unbelievable program. Caleb Dressel, Katie Ledecky, I believe, still practices there. So, like, have you been able to take her to Gainesville to experience that? Florida swimming.
Yeah, the culture is different. She started when we were in Amherst, and my wife was a swimmer in high school, so that played a factor into it. But she found a swim club in Amherst, indoors, obviously, and it was crazy because COVID hit, and so I was never able to watch her. I was never able to go. They wouldn't let me in the pool. Like I had to like wipe a window and peek through to see her. But I'll be completely candid. The move to Florida was very challenging on both my daughters. My son was just one. He was trying to figure out whether he was going to eat solid foods or not. But the swim club that they became a part of in Jupiter, Florida, the Jupiter Dragons, gave them friends and it gave them a family. Now that makes it hard on me to move them, but and I'll never forget one of the days. The first couple days, it's hard. They don't want to go. They don't know anybody. You're walking them in there, and the coach came over to me and was like, "I need her to focus. Stop chattering so much." I was like, "Coach K, I need her to make friends." So I'm not telling her to be disrespectful to you if she's doing something and not listening. But I need her to make friends, and that's exactly what we've done. Our best friends down in Jupiter are our swim friends, we call them. There's about 3 families that we're really, really close with. We all go out to dinner, and it's been great. It's been great. But I am indebted to that swim program because of it gave my girls friends. We took her to Florida Gator swim camp. It was kind of a
Yes, that's awesome.
surreal, moment for me. I used to run basketball camp,
Yeah.
as a GA and the ops guy. So you got basketball camp going on, but you saw the swim camp
So
going on.
cool.
So it was really cool. Ledecky was there. This was right before the Olympics. So Ledecky was there. Dressel was there. They actually spoke to the campers. She got their autographs and stuff. They couldn't because it was so close to the Olympics. They weren't allowed to get close to within you could get a picture with them, right? Because you're worried about germs and them getting. I mean, they were getting ready to go overseas. So, but no, really cool experience for her and for me. She got the Gator swim sweatshirt on. Out of all the places I've worked, this is amazing too. I kept gear from 2 of them. I kept gear. I probably should have kept more Chattanooga. I kept FA. Actually, I raided FAU's gear closet when Dusty May was the coach. I came out of practice one day with all kinds of FAU stuff because Dusty's a good friend and rooting for him up there at Michigan too. But the gate, when you grow up a Gator, your dad played football for it. You worked there for 11 years, man. That's something different for me about the orange and blue.
Yeah, yeah. You took me to my first real football game. I have to say,
Yeah,
Florida, Tennessee.
yeah.
Best
Oh, wow.
best tailgate I've ever been to. With the little bus outside.
We had some fun.
We had a good time. So before we wrap up, who do we have for the Final Four this year? Let's give me six teams. I'm not gonna make you
Ooh.
get 4. I won't hold you to 4. I'll give me 6.
Well, I had to give 4 the other day on the field of 68, so we'll start there. And this is before anybody played. I mean, this was before Arizona. First of all, we need more games like that, Deuce, on the first night of college basketball.
I mean, it doesn't make sense not to.
We had 2 good games.
Yep.
We had 2. Villanova, BYU, DeBonce's debut, and Florida,
Great
Arizona. Game. I mean, the Florida-Arizona game was a Sweet 16 game. That's a Sweet 16 game. So we need more of that. Duke, Texas last night. Credit those coaches for playing those games. But before those games were even said, my 4 were Purdue. I just think Lawyer and Braden Smith are too good. I think those guys are going to will that team. Trey Kaufman-Renn, same thing. You get those 3 guys back in your program, I think they'll be there. I'm really, really high on UCLA.
Okay.
The transfer from New Mexico, Donovan Dent, that went there. That's really what they needed. They needed a guy to go get a bucket with the game on the line. I love the front court player, Bilodeau. So I'm high on them. Mick Cronin's squad. I think UCLA can get back there. I think Pitino does it. I think the Johnnies get there. Everyone wants to talk about point guard play, but they're just – listen, man, you know this because you've been around them and you have a relationship with them, Deuce. Like, nobody had a good summer within that program. Rick Pitino made everybody's life miserable within that program.
Yeah.
So they're going to come back with the vengeance. Big game on Saturday versus Alabama. Be interesting to see how that one turns out. And Houston, I mean, culture, what he's created. He got his 800th win the other day. Who knows how much longer he's going to do this. I'm high on them. I think I had Kentucky in there too. They need to get healthy. I'm a big Jalen Lowe guy.
Yep.
Back when Calipari was there, Florida, Kentucky was just like, you didn't like them. They didn't like us. We ran into each other in recruiting all the time. But like when you sit down with Mark Pope, you can't not root for the guy.
I know.
You can't not root for him. He's like the nicest guy ever.
He is.
I love his roster. I love Aberdeen. They plucked him from Florida. Jalen Lowe, if he can get out there and get healthy. So I'll give you those 5.
Okay. All right.
What a special freshman class, too. The freshmen this year are unbelievable. And you're seeing even some great performances on the mid-major level, too.
Best we've seen in a long time. I don't know, Deuce, what you think, but from, Pete at Arizona to the Boozers to Bonsa,
Peterson from Kansas.
Peterson from Kansas. The kid out there at Baylor's terrific.
Yeah.
I mean, this is as good of a freshman class that we've had in a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Arkansas. That's what I'll say. Don't sleep on Arkansas. I like them a lot.
Acuff, there's another one.
Yeah.
Thomas, too. Yeah. They're going to be good.
I'm interested to see the Huskies when they're healthy. I watched them the other day for a few minutes, but
can't count out that guy.
No, I love Danny. Danny's my guy, so he's crazy
cannot
as
count
he
him
is.
out.
Plus, I'm paying his salary, with my taxes. So.
Yeah, there you go.
Also, on the Huskies note, Caravan, a lot less pressure this year, playing probably third or fourth fiddle. I think he's going to be rejuvenated, and he had a great first game against New Haven too. So, I think if he gets his shooting back, watch out.
Yeah, I mean that Florida UConn game is going to be a great game. Everyone wants to overreact to Florida losing. Listen, Will Richard is throwing dimes to Steph Curry right now.
Yeah.
Okay. He's playing 20 minutes. Here, Steph, shoot it.
Yes.
Okay. Walter Clayton Jr., you could say was the best guard in the country last year, who's playing for the Utah Jazz, and Elijah Martin is on the Toronto Raptors. They lost 3 pros. It's going to take some time. Yes, the front court's good. Condon has to play better. It's going to take some time, but the guys they have now are not those 3 guys that are playing in the association.
No, they're not.
Those guys were terrific on both ends of the floor.
Yes.
Doesn't mean Florida can't get to a Sweet 16. It just means it's going to take some time to adjust to life without those 3 guys.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Matt, this was great. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're busy, especially at the start of hoop season. I hope you enjoy the season, and we'll definitely hold you to those predictions. Don't worry. A lot of pressure.
Can't wait to come back on and see where they're at.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's good. Thanks so much, and hope to catch up with you soon. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
All right. Take care now.
Gotcha.